Have you noticed we never overthink positive outcomes? Imagine you're about to go on a date or a job interview. Whenever you're waiting for that to happen, maybe like an hour before, you're sitting there, you got all that anxiety built up, like unsure what's about to happen. You don't know if you're about to do well. You don't know if there's gonna be any awkward moments in that conversation or whatever's going on. So you're sitting there just super anxious, sitting in it. And whenever you get there, it might be a really positive experience, it might be bad, but beforehand, you're always sitting in the negative. When we overthink, it's always because we're sitting there thinking about the worst possible outcome for what's about to happen. Never the positives. We never imagine that we're about to get the best case scenario and what we're about to experience. On the way to the first date, most people don't typically think about how much fun they're about to have meeting this new person or how well they might hit it off and maybe they get married one day. They're always thinking about the bad things. Same with the job interview. No one's on the way there thinking, oh, this is about to go so well. I'm about to just ace it. They're about to love me. And if you do, it's rare. But most people are thinking just really anxious thoughts like, oh, I hope I do well. I hope this person likes me. Am I dressed well enough? Like stuff like that. And it really gets to their head. And they don't just think about the positives. They always focus on the negatives. We easily fall into the negative thoughts, and we don't easily fall into the positive ones. And that's because positive thoughts and action require intention. You have to actually focus and be mindful instead of just letting your mind wander on its own. That's why people who meditate often, or just people who just have really good focus, are typically coming off as a more positive person. Think about it, a meditation guru. They're almost always just positive and happy and really calm. And that's because they can see it with intent or feel it with intent, think that way with an intention because they're more mindful. I've noticed it myself whenever I started meditating and trying to be more mindful about my day, try to be more present. My mind doesn't wander as much and go into those negative thoughts, and I can catch myself sometimes. Like if I do go on a first date or something, I'm having those negative thoughts, I'll literally catch myself and be like, why am I thinking this way? It's about to be fun. And I can talk myself out of it because I'm using intention to get myself out of it and making it, or honestly, I'm making myself go into it with a better, positive, emotional state and energy that'll just make it go better and the outcome will be better because I'm going into it with that positive energy. Having that shift from going from a negative person to a positive person isn't passive. It doesn't just happen, it's a conscious choice. We have to literally force ourselves out of those negative cycles and into more healthier, positive ones by thinking about it with intent. Like, okay, I'm thinking negatively right now, but what about the positives? You have to make yourself think about those because the negative thoughts is almost like a survival instinct. We naturally go into those negative thoughts because our mind's trying to avoid the worst case scenario because it wants to live a more comfortable life or even just avoid something that could put you in potential danger. And our lives are so much easier now than they used to be, like way back in the day when we had to like hunt and gather, like living in that little village cottages and shit. Because back then there was little danger. There were other tribes that would come and fight you. But now our survival instincts are so like dull that we don't have to worry about that stuff. So the really minute stuff is what our survival instinct caters towards. So it's like, okay, if I go into this situation, what's the negative that can come from this? And it wants to avoid it at all costs. So it doesn't even think about the positives. And that's just your mind being passive. That's like the default autopilot that it's gonna go to. It's gonna go to the negatives to try to avoid those. So if you sit there and take manual control of your brain and focus and try to make it positive, that's never gonna be a more positive, happy person because you can expect the best from things rather than just expecting the worst and being super pessimistic. Negative energy and outcomes are effortless and natural to the human mind because it's just what it wants to latch onto to protect you. There's an Epictetus quote, and it goes something like, it's not what happens to you, it's how you react to it that matters. And that's basically how all of this sums up. Just go into whatever it is, knowing something bad could happen, but even if it does, if you react to it in a positive way, who cares? Like, if you do go to that job interview and you don't get the job, just think about it in a positive way. Like, okay, I didn't get this job, but maybe it's because there's a better opportunity down the road for me, and I wasn't meant to get this job. Maybe the next one's even better, and so I can look forward to that now. And I learned some new skills from this interview, so for the next interview, I can just be better at it. Think about it that way. Or same with a first date. If we're going back to that, if you go to that first date and it doesn't go well, just blame it on her, not you. That sounds stupid. Like, or not stupid, but it sounds like you're being selfish, thinking it's all her fault. But in a sense, it kind of is because y'all just want a good match. So, I mean, it's both y'all's fault, but y'all want a good match. Don't blame it on yourself. Just get ready for the next one. Take it as a learning experience. Whatever you learn from that date, use it for the next one. Maybe it goes better. Maybe it's a better person. So think about it that way rather than just putting yourself down and thinking you did something wrong. It's a good way to go about doing things in general. If you have a more positive outlook on things, your life's going to be happier or better, and you're going to be a happier person in general. So, good way to go about thinking about things, in my opinion. So just try to be more intentful with your thinking maybe meditate some, try to get more presence and mindfulness in your life, and it'll really go a long way. But anybody from this video, appreciate you subscribe. Besides that, see you in the next one.